The killer calls Odell to tell her to take care of the Luther problem if she wants to see her daughter. She reluctantly agrees. Corinne wakes up to Luther knocking on the door. She opens it and Luther talks about the killer. He says that he is someone she had just met, maybe in a support group. A person that is willing to do anything and nothing in return. She cries and says that he has even gone into the house and held up images of Callum. She pleads for Luther to catch him. Odell and Luther meet at a bar when Odell forces Luther into her trunk. Luther pleads with her and explains that the killer is just using her daughter as a bargaining chip. Luther explains that he knows what to do. They go to the burner victim's place. The burn victim is found out to be the killer's wife. She tried to stop him, then she was coincidentally caught in a house fire. She tells them where the killer is and she says it's an operation. They leave to head off to Alaska where the operation is. When they arrive, they need to walk for a mile. Luther sees people frozen under the water. When they enter the mansion, they hear a voice leading them to a room. Odell sees her daughter, and she blames Luther for her death and tells him to leave. Luther leaves to explore the mansion. He finds a secret room and goes down the steps and down through the passage. Odell realizes that the person isn't her daughter. This is when a man chokes her out. Luther is then beaten up and passes out. Luther wakes up to water being sprayed on his face. He is chained to a chair. The killer says that they are on a show and this is the only place they can let out their desires. They then walk into Odell, and in the opposite room is her daughter Anya. He says that if Odell wants Anya to live, she has to stab Luther. She stabs Luther and tells Luther to break her kneecap. Luther then says that the police know where they are and that all the people watching's IP address is getting traced. They say his name is David Roby. David then runs and locks the door. Luther chases after he and Odell go to free Anya, but the door closes. When they are outside, David gets in the ATV and Luther barely gets in when the ATV takes off. They struggle in the car, and this is when the ATV falls into the water. Luther quickly grabs David's phone and opens the door for Odell and Anya. He is about to pass out when he sees the divers. Luther wakes up in an ambulance bed where he finds out that David suffocated under the water. They couldn't find his body among all the others. The news then displays that Luther the detective broke out of prison to solve the case of the serial killer. He is then indicted and kept at a safe house. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing.